Good evening. My name is Wallace Gator Bradley, and I'm the president of United in Peace, Inc. And as you know, this show is being produced and directed by the chairman of United in Peace, Inc. None other than my charming wife. Yes, she paid me 50 cents to tell her, but I'm going to charge her $1. None other than my wife, Terry Mars, whom I love. And with that, I want to say to God be the glory. There's a lot of things that's been happening in the news over this week. So let me start off with the fact that I'm glad that Dick Durbin and the Democrats convinced some of the Republicans that they need to order the FBI to come in and investigate that gentleman that wants to be the Supreme Court Justice. And from what I've just heard, that President Trump ordered the FBI to investigate those charges. There's now 3 ladies that have came up. I watched that hearing yesterday, and the woman was very believable. And then when I heard the gentleman that wanted to be the Supreme Court Justice speak, and he was real candid, and he tried to cry, and like he was a good student, and he just loved beer. He loved beer. He said he loved beer. He just loved beer. And then someone brought up his high school book, or things that were said about him in his high school book. You know, he had that book while you're in high school. They say you the type of person that may excel. Well, he was a part of a crew that felt that you had to drink 100 kegs of beer. And then there were some women that said he was an all-right guy, and one lady said he was an all-right guy until she read her name was mentioned as if everybody in his crew had their way with her. But the thing that got my attention was when President Trump said the reason he's pushing for this guy to be Supreme Court judge, regardless of what these women are saying about him, is because he was biased because of all the things that people have said about him and his escapades with women. And one of the things that stuck in my gut is when I see what they did to Bill Cosby because of what women said that he allegedly did to them. None of them had any records that said that he did it to them. And don't get me wrong, I feel like anybody that abused any women is wrong. No DNA testing. But if they feel like he should have been found guilty, Mr. Cosby, and he should do 3 to 10 years, and he's 81 years old, and he's blind, he should do 3 to 10. When you hear all the things that this guy running for the Supreme Court has done to that young woman, and 2 more women is coming up, and I believe it's going to be a lot of other women coming up when they have the FBI investigate this. And everybody feels like Trump wants to make sure that he get this particular guy on the Supreme Court, because this guy says that he will be beholden to President Trump. So now let's get into was very important. The November 6th elections, 2018. This is the most important election in the United States. These elections that's happening now across America, especially in Illinois. Because this is dealing with the popular vote. So everybody that say they upset with Trump and the Republican Party, you got a chance to do something. All you got to do is come out and vote Democrat. I don't care what state you live in. You got a chance to get rid of those Republican congressmen and senators that support the things that Trump is doing. And if the House become a Democratic House, they can impeach Trump. Call, I see you calling. Could you please state your name, voice your opinion?
Yeah, this is James. I'm glad you and the lady who work at Operation Push, I'm glad y'all support Kwame Dama, mother and father, because she was there, the one be at Operation Push. I don't know her name, and I think you was there too.
Right.
And y'all did a good job, and keep on supporting them.
Well, you know, James, the thing is this. We all got to support one another against things that's being done to them when it's wrong. We got to all pray. That's what I'm telling everybody. Pray to God that He bring down His justice in that trial, that Van Dyke trial. With the evidence that they have against him is overwhelming. And when I saw that they tried to create a cartoon video to say, don't pay attention to the dash cam video that showed Van Dyke shooting Laquan McDonald 16 times. I said, man, that is wrong, that is so wrong, that is so wrong. But I do know the power of God, because He feel that that was wrong. That's how I feel in my heart. Van Dyke, they bring the Catholic priest and they bring a nun in, so they praying that the jury say the 16 shots didn't happen. Van Dyke ought to be free. So I'm saying we got to pray a little bit harder than they praying, because don't think they ain't praying. When you see the president of the Illinois Fraternal Order Police get up and say what Van Dyke did was okay and right, and they feel like every police officer ought to be able to do that. Okay? When you see that the Fraternal Order Police president here in the city of Chicago stand up and say that. And then on another note, I watched the news and I saw where 2 teenagers coming out of school got killed by 3 individuals that chased them down the street in broad daylight. On 35th, where you got the cameras from the White Sox Stadium, you got the cameras from Metro, you got the camera from the Red Line, you got the camera from the Green Line, you got the Homeland Security cameras, and they didn't care. But I want to say this. I'm glad the superintendent of police are letting them know that they on their heels. They found the car that was burnt. He let them know that the area is saturated with cameras. And they got this face recognition identity that's even on your Facebook pages. And they're going to be using that a lot to help apprehend the individuals that's doing these senseless shootings and killings. So on the one hand, We got to pray for justice for all. And pray that those that engage in senseless shootings and killings get the justice that God prescribed for them. Caller, I see you calling. Could you state your name?
Hey Gator, this is Steve, and how you doing today,
Hey Steve,
man?
how you feeling, man?
You know, you just said something that we was talking to some people a few weeks ago. You know what the sad thing about this, Gator? In our day, we would have took attention to something like that. These young people nowadays, they act like they don't care. I mean, they literally want to go to jail. I just don't understand their frame of mind and their thoughts. But that is them. But let me get back to what you were talking about earlier. I noticed this confirmation hearing that we have been listening to. The gentleman for the Republicans that was chairing the meeting for the Republicans. You know what I really noticed? Prejudice is still going on in the United States of America in the year 2018. I'm beginning to believe old people need to step down sometime. It's time for a change, different thoughts. Let's put some women in control, young people. Let's get some new blood in.
But you know, I'm with you, Steve. But the thing is this, and we all got to understand this. If the 52% women that Trump be talking about that voted for him, had not voted for him, we wouldn't be in this dilemma today with that hearing that we saw yesterday.
See, Gator, let me tell you, again, that was then. Even some of the people, that his base, could see some things now they're beginning not to like.
Right.
And the way that he, just coherent. Even him, he talking about how women used to attack rich people, famous people. He's rich and he's famous. And he don't think anything about a woman. A woman's less than anything on his mind.
Right.
He's short, he prove it. Again, like I say, I don't know 100%, but in my heart, I think that man did these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably did even more. That's why he's going to limit the scope for the investigation. Yeah, so they won't dig into it. Now, look that being someone else, they wouldn't know what time to use the washroom.
Right, but like I say, we got to accept the blessing that God give us and work with them.
Right.
We
need people like you, Gator. We need people like you.
Well, there's a lot of them like me, man. I'm running to them every day. Yeah. And one thing I can say, Steve, they be hearing you calling it into the show, and they be like, hey, it need to be more people like Steve that at least saying something that make one scratch their head instead of us arguing, because we both, when I first started the show, my wife told me, there's no need to argue with anyone when you let them know that this is an opinionated show, and everybody have a right to their opinion, and it must be respected.
When I first saw you, I was proud of you. I was proud of you, because see, I remember the day, but I was truly proud of what you have came. And listen, God bless us, we still here.
Yeah.
Do you understand me?
Thank you,
Let me
man.
get out this show, Gator.
Hey, man, Steve, before you go, make sure everybody know that early voting is happening. I voted early yesterday when it started. I voted with J.B. Pritzker and with his wife, M.K., and Alderman Walter Burnett voted. A lot of ministers, about 100 people went in there and voted with us. Okay? We got to get the blue wave.
I do the absentee ballot every year. I'm expecting my ballot to be coming in very soon.
All right.
All right, Gator, you take care.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Hey, on that tip, everybody had an issue now that Pratt Winkle has put her name in the race. And it was a press conference where Willie Wilson and I think Ricky Hendon, they say that Fred Winkle was stealing their thunder in reference to jail reform or, the bond issue. And I read an article in the Daily Sun-Times by Neil Steinberg, and the headline reads, Fred Winkle was reforming bond court when Wilson was busy in China. It says, a lot of people underestimated Fred Winkle, president of the Cook County Board, Toni Fred Winkle, who's now the chairman of the Cook County Democratic Party. When she made that announcement, one of the wonderful things she said, it wasn't, yes, we can. It was said she was running because she can, by virtue of the law. I believe she's the strongest candidate that's in the race to run for mayor by virtue of the fact that she's come from a strong organization. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. One of the things I know, she reached out to the sheriff, the chief judge, the state's attorney. Carl, I see you. Could you please state your name and voice your opinion?
Hi, this is TJ Hughes.
Hey, TJ.
I just wanted to comment in regards to Toni Fred Winkle. I have been a part of all of our time, and I think she will make a fantastic mayor. So I just want to talk on the show and put out my support of Toni Fred.
Right. I'm glad that you made that statement, because it's very important that everybody understand it's gonna take a strong person to be the mayor of the city of Chicago. All the candidates that's running, do they know that once you become mayor, for lack of a better phrase, you're gonna get traumatized? What I mean by that, if Willie Wilson become mayor, all the senseless shooters and killers in the city of Chicago, they're going to be saying those are Willie's killings. Okay? If the young brother Green that's running and he has a right to run, they're going to say he's responsible for the pension problem. And he has to find some way to raise money to pay for the pensions. Okay? If Dorothy Brown should become the mayor, she'll have to find money for revenue. Whatever tax that she come up with to get it, they're going to treat her as worse as they talked about Toni Fred Winkle when they called her the sugar queen because she wanted a pop tax. One of the wonderful things that I think was great about Ron dropping out of the race, because now a lot of them candidates have lost their favorite platform, and it was anti-Ron. So now they got to come up with their plans. They got to show how they're going to get revenue to run this city and plug those holes in the budget. They got to have issues on what are they really going to do to help stop individuals from shooting in broad daylight on 35th Street and killing 2 innocent children that was getting out of school. What's their plan? Okay, so now let's deal with the issues so everybody can see who can do what. Put every candidate's name on a sheet of paper and run down what can they do for this, what can they do for the schools, call I see you. Could you please voice your opinion and state your name?
Is this still me on here?
If you still the caller.
Yes, I believe so.
All right, talk to me.
I was just calling in because, like I said, I think that Toni is a strong candidate. She's a strong woman. She knows how to be resourceful, and she doesn't back down. So I just wanted to call in to just voice that I give her my support. And I hope that the women that's out here listening will also give her your support.
Hey, I thank you. Before you hang up,
Yes.
you sound like a registered voter. Early vote has started, and there's an election that's going to be November 6th. Get in there and vote for every Democrat that's on there. Democrat. DEM. Just look for everybody got DEM on there and vote for them. We try to have a blue wave come through the state of Illinois. We try to get rid of Ronna. We try to get rid of the Republican congressman.
Mm-hmm. I'm with
so
you.
That we can bring a change.
I'm with you.
And I love you more. And I got my wife's permission to say that.
Okay.
You know, the thing about voting, we think one vote don't make a difference. Well, if we want to have Dick Durbin as United States Senator that represent the state of Illinois on the Judicial Committee, the FBI wouldn't be looking into the issue of Miss Ford being sexually abused by Kavanaugh, the guy that's running for the Supreme Court. Dick Durbin, if you missing this show, it'll be live on YouTube, and I will send you the link to all the people that voted for you, that believe in this blue wave that I'm speaking about. I want to say hooray, hooray, hooray to United States Senator who's a Democrat that represents Illinois for standing up for what's right by demanding, and the other Democrats that was on there, and the congressman, I think his name, no, the senator that's a Republican, I think his name is Flake. Hooray for you for making it where those on the other side decided with you and the Democrats to make sure that before they have that full vote, that there be an FBI investigation. And even though it's a limited investigation, it went from no investigation to a limited investigation. And however man feel like he wants to limit it, fact of the matter is, if they dig a little deep, they gonna get the truth. Because don't forget about what they did to Anita Hill when Clarence Thomas became a Supreme Court judge. Well, I gotta wrap it up. There's a lot I want to say, but the most important thing, get out there and vote. Vote early and go find somebody else to vote. And that way you won't have to vote often. So I want to say, to God be the glory. Don't choke. Vote. Be true blue. And vote Democrats into office. To God be the glory, and I'm out of here.